Now, I've established that the forms of verb to be, the is, the are, the am, the were, and all of it, it could also be in the past. For instance, you can say the man was a doctor, for instance. Okay, the man was a doctor. Now, in this case, you have the man and you have a doctor. Now, a doctor here is a complement because the word that describes what? The man. So you have was a doctor. The was there is a linking verb. So this is how to look at it. Now, there are some verbs there are other verbs that are also considered as linking verbs. They are appear, they are look, they are sound, they are taste, smell. You can see a lot of them on the screen here. Okay, stay, true, turn, prove, arm, was. I'll give you that. Take note of appear, take note of become, look, sound, taste, smell, still, and all of that. For example, the car looks neat, right? The car looks neat. The stew smells good. The man seems honest that we've given. The poor boy feels hungry. Now, in the second example that we have appear, become, look, sound, taste, smell, still, and all of that, they are more likely the complement that we're going to have after them, okay, is more likely going to give us an adjectival complement. For the example that we have earlier, where we say the poor child feels hungry, all right, feels there is a linking verb, hungry is a complement, an adjectival complement. Look at the word seems. Okay, look at the other word where we have the car looks neat, the stew smells nice or good or whatever you have. Okay, the man appears honest or whatever you have. Now, complement, the basic way of looking at complement, we've looked at it as being adjectival complement and nominal complement and all that, which is correct. But complement can also be a phrase or even a clause. Okay, we've looked at a noun phrase like a doctor, like a farmer, and all of that, right? A complement can also be a phrase or even a clause. This is the simplest way to say a complement. A complement may also be a phrase, as we've seen in the noun phrase that we have, or even a clause. Yes, even a clause. For instance, now let's look at this example. I'm saying a phrase. Okay, my hobby is singing. I can't sing, but let's just have that example. Okay, let's use reading. Now, my hobby is reading. My hobby is reading. Now, my hobby there is the subject, right? And is there is linking verbs. Basically when you're having the forms of verb to be and you have the nominal complement, or you have a feel, hungry, see, feel, appear, seem, look, prove, become, and all of that, then what you're going to have is the adjectival complement. Okay, so in this case I've given an example like my hobby is reading. Now, reading there is a gerund. Gerund is an ing form of a verb, okay, that behaves as a noun. Now, reading there, okay, let's say my hobby is reading books, for instance, or let's say novels. Okay, let's give that example. My hobby is reading novels. Now, in this case, you discover that reading novels there is a phrase. What kind of phrase? Gerundive phrase. Now, reading novel there is still the same thing as my hobby, is what describes my hobby. So, reading novels here is a phrase, a gerundive phrase that functions as a complement, right? In this case, we can also say a nominal complement, because basically your gerunds that we have in English behave as nouns because they perform the same function. If a noun functions as subject of a verb, the gerund will also function as subject of a verb. If a noun functions as object of a verb, the gerund would also function as object of a verb. If a noun functions as complement, like we have subject complement, the gerund would also function as subject complement. If a noun functions as object complement, the gerund would also function as object complement, and apposition and complement of a preposition and all of this that we have. Now, it is important to say that in addition to this, the number of the complement must be the same as the number of the subjects. Okay, that is, when the subject is singular, the complement must also be singular. This only applies to nominal entity. This is where subject-complement agreement comes to play. Now, in other languages of the world, there is an agreement between the number of the subject and the adjectives, right? Okay, let's say you say French, Spanish, German, and all of that. They change. The adjectives will change based on the number of nouns, right? But in English, it only applies to the nominal complement that we have. Look at the example on the screen. The man is a doctor. The man is a singular subject. Then a doctor there is also a singular complement. Because it really makes sense if you say the man is doctor or the man is doctors. You can have something like that. All right. Look at this example. The men are doctors, right? The men, okay, plural subjects, doctors, plural complement. There must be an agreement. When you give an example like this is my pen, this is singular, this, T-H-I-S, is my pen. Then you have to give another example. These are my pens. There's going to be a difference, right? That is what we call agreement between the complement. It doesn't happen. It doesn't occur when you talk about adjectival complement. It only applies to nominal complement. And you know, this and these, okay, this is, you cannot say that is my pen. You can also say those are my pens. The difference is what you're thinking here, what I believe we already know. For instance, this is singular, right? Is a demonstrative pronoun. Okay, this is my pen. That is when something is nearer the distance. So with something, that pen is, when the pen is nearer, right, or is closer to you, you can talk about this is my pen. Or we're talking about that is my pen. So you're actually talking about the distance, which is like it's far away. Now, these are my pens. So you have that as plural, close. Those are my pens. You have it as what? As plural, far. Now, this is the nature of agreement that I'm talking about. Please note that there is a difference between complement with the E and complement with the I. Compliment with the I is a polite expression or admiration or praise for something or someone. For example, let's say I make this, someone sees you and say you look very dapper in your new dress. You're likely going to say, oh, thanks for the compliment, okay? Because it's just admiration or praise for something. So you're going to have I, and thanks for the compliment. It's different from the complement with the E, which has something to do with linguistics. A word that describes what or who a subject or an object is. Lastly, it's also important to say that we have complements of the season. Okay, complements of the season is used as a seasonal greeting at Christmas or the New Year. So complements, it's the same thing in I and S of the season as a seasonal greeting in New Year. So this is where we'll put an end to linking verbs and complements. Thanks for watching.